I'm Jessica Stewart from Izzy and Ivy Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to select the right fabrics for your project, and when you have too many fabrics to show, then how to add more fabric to an existing pattern. Today, I've got some great fabrics to show you today, and one of the biggest things people ask me is, how do you choose your fabrics? How do you go through that process? So today I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I pick one fabric and then I go from there. Once you have that done, the rest is golden. One of the things that when you're looking at fabrics, you want to pick something that you love. You don't want to sew with something that you don't really have any interest in. You want to sew with something that's perfect for the person that you're sewing for. If it's for yourself or a child, you want to keep those things in mind. So first you're going to pick something bright, something fun, something that you like, and then you're going to go. Chances are the manufacturer is going to have some fabric that goes with that. Generally, there will be 20 to 30 fabrics in a line, and you can pick from those. So it makes it kind of easy. So it's not really as difficult as you think. So today, I've picked this really pretty pink scroll fabric, and I've paired it with some blue fabrics. There's some tiny bits of blue in here, and I thought that would be pretty. So I've gone with something that also picks up the pink. And then I've picked up this other dotted fabric. This is all from the same line from the manufacturer. It makes it really easy. Now, what you can do is you can change out this top fabric with one change and make it look like something totally different. We've got the green with the blue florals. There's little bits of pink and purple. It makes it really simple, and it's really not as hard as it seems, not as daunting. So I'm also going to show you some dresses that I've made. I like these tiered dresses. I make them for my little girl because I like to choose lots of fabrics, and sometimes I have a hard time nailing it down between one fabric or the other. This way I can use lots. I can use as many as I want. This one I've kind of chosen the greens and blues, a little bit of purple here and there, but it makes it really interesting, kind of gives it that boutique look. But it also kind of has a monochromatic feel. It's all in the same family. On this one here, it's a little bit shorter, but I decided that I wanted some more pops of colors here and there. So we've got our blues and greens, but occasionally you have a pop of pink and purple. This one was one of her favorites. Today, I've also got this one. We've got kind of the same thing going on down here, and it's hard to tell. It's very subtle, but we've got some strip work down here, and that just gives it a little bit more interest. I couldn't choose which fabric was my favorite on this purple one, so I decided to use lots. Sometimes it's hard to get to the fabric store. I have little kids. They really don't want to follow me around as I pick out 3 or 4 or 5 fabrics. One of the things that is great about living in this day and age is that you can buy fabric online. But the hard part is that you can't see it in person. You don't know which fabrics are really going to match. That's when the manufacturer comes into play. Once you've decided on the fabric that you like, sometimes you can go to the manufacturer's website and they will have downloadable files that you can it comes in a zip file, you can download it, and you'll have digital swatches of the fabric that you would like to purchase. Some of the manufacturers do this just as a courtesy to their customers, but make sure that if you're going to use this route that I'm getting ready to show you, make sure that you ask permission first. I'm going to use a picture collage software today. This is on a website that's free, and you can use whatever your favorite thing is, and you're going to download them, and I'm going to show you how to make a collage so you can plan your project. So I'm going into my collage website, and you can pick whatever size collage you want. This one just happens to be a square, and I'm going to go in and add images. I also like to add a picture of the item that I'm going to be sewing. That picture into my collage, and on the left side I've got a picture of the dress, and then on the right side I'm going to add my fabrics in. And it's not an exact science. I've already done this dress in kind of the greens and blues, but I want to see what it looks like with some cream tones and some purples. So I've selected this polka dot print as my bodice. And then I'm going to add in some purples for some of the other parts. So let's add that in as a second tier. And let's add this purple one in as the casings and the straps. And you can play with the dimensions on each of these sections. The best part about this is that you can't really mess it up. If you don't like what you have, you can trash it and try something else. Here's the next tier. And you just adjust those. And I think that I like this cream color here, so I want to lighten this up a little and switch that around. And you can just play as much as you want. I will warn you, though, that this will suck up a lot of your time, and you can find yourself running down the rabbit hole of collage making. Once you're finished and you have it the way that you like, you can export it and save it to your computer, and then it's ready to go for when you purchase fabric and when you get ready to sew your garment. So now I'm going to show you how to add more fabric. In case you just don't have enough fabric in your garment as it is, I'm going to show you how to make a strip work section so that you can put as many fabrics as you would like. This tier on this particular dress is normally 2 pieces, and they're like 38 inches wide. If I'm going to divide that up into smaller pieces, I want a better number to work with, so I'm going to expand that to 40 inches. Divides really easily into 10. If I add an inch for my seam allowances, half an inch on each side for this pattern, I'm going to come up with 11-inch squares. So pretty easy. You can cut squares and sew them. So you are going to need 8 for this particular one, and you can modify this for any pattern that you have that needs any kind of gathered piece. If you want it on a piece that's not gathered, you'll have to do more math. So for this one, I decided that I really don't like the paisleys together. I want to split those up a little bit. So once you have your squares, you match them up how you would like them, and you're going to get to sewing. It goes pretty fast from here. You're going to take 2 of your squares, and you can pin this if you would like, but these are such small squares that I'm not going to worry about it. They go right sides together, and I'm using a 1/2 inch seam allowance because that is what my pattern prescribes. And this is one of the easiest parts of this. It's not too complicated, but it really does add a lot of interest to your piece. And since this is not lined, I'm going to serge the edge. Trim my threads. And then you press your seam open. Or to the side, rather. And then something that's kind of important when you're sewing strip work for kids especially is to top stitch the seam, because they tend to be a little more rough on their clothes than the rest of us. So top stitching will just ensure that these are not going to come apart. This is going to last for several kids down the line. I know that on the pieces that I've taken time with for my daughter, we've been able to pass them down to several friends, and we are kind of hot for hand-me-downs in the neighborhood. All right, so we've got our piece, and this is ready to go. And you will do this times however many pieces that you have, and you'll basically sew one giant loop. And here is my finished tier, and it's ready to go. And now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to show you how I do a gathering stitch, because this is part of a tier, so we got to make it smaller for the next piece. To gather, here's what I like to do. I'm going to bump up my stitch length as far as it will go, and I'm going to widen my stitch to the longest setting it has, and I like to use 2 rows. So this first one I'm going to start at 3/8 inch. And then when I go to my second one, this is going to help me get a nice even gather. And you don't have to back stitch or anything, because you want to be able to pull these right through, and it will give you a nice, pretty, even gather. And then you're ready, when you're finished with the whole thing, you're ready to sew it onto your garment. This is my way to show you how to add even more fabric into your garment, and you can really see that it is very easy to do.